Guys, we finally made it. Months ago, I made the ill-advised purchase of a really, really neglected Porsche 911 Turbo. Seriously, I don't recommend it. But we're not here to talk about financial mistakes. Tim has been going crazy on the bodywork and most importantly, the paint. And now we're just a few days away from seeing the 911 Turbo looking like a brand new car. Today we're here to drop off the last couple parts, including one very special piece that's gonna take this build to the next level. Yeah, I think we're in the right place. It's a sick Model 3. That's not the right shape. Well, it is carbon fiber, it's just not that carbon fiber. I don't see it over there. It's a lot of expensive looking crates though. I've checked there, all the way around there. That only leaves one place. Son of a... That's what we're looking for. It might have been by the dumpster, but it still feels like Christmas morning, I cannot lie. So I get it. I guess with these dimensions, it wasn't gonna fit in the crate. Check it out. I don't know why they left it by the dumpster, but we'll talk about that another day. If you don't know what you're looking at, it's an OEM 997 GT2 carbon hood. You saw the ducts, you saw the mirrors. This is the final piece of the puzzle. I'm honestly not a big carbon guy, but look at this. How can you argue with OEM quality? When I was offered this along with those other parts for a smoking deal, I just couldn't help myself. I really could not. Because if you're not aware, here's a look at what this costs new. Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. These hoods are matte from the factory, but this one also has a little bit of matte PPFs. One of my absolute favorite parts about this hood, instead of the metal Porsche badge like all the normal cars have, this one's an inlaid sticker. It looks a little goofy because of the PPF, but trust me, it's awesome. Now, the only existing problem we have here is I don't have a way to get this home. So we're gonna have to figure that out, but I guess minor details. At least we have the piece in hand at this point, and I couldn't be more excited, even though it took us all day. We probably would have found it a lot faster if we didn't get sidetracked over there all day, but I had a ton of fun driving the new 992 Turbo and the new GT3. But I suppose it's time we see if this gets in the old trusty rental there and get on our way. Like a glove. It might be a little awkward carrying this thing back into the hotel, but Porsche life, baby. Howdy.
Oh, I like that.
Me too.
I like that.
This has been a minute.
I kind of like how much you wrap this thing.
I mean, we had to, right?
Yeah.
It's a long trip. A long trip and an expensive and more importantly, kind of irreplaceable part.
Look at all these bubbles up.
Yeah, we had to buy this at Home Depot, so this isn't that wholesale bubble wrap either. This is that premium, we paid like 50 bucks a roll bubble wrap. Looks good to me. It looks really good.
Oh, look at this.
Is this actually solid?
Solid carbon. This isn't that fiberglass overlay type stuff. That is solid carbon, baby. Dude, as quick as it was unwrapped, it goes back in the blanket. Well, now that that's a wrap, see what I did there? We got the glass loaded up, one piece in my truck, one piece in Fernando's truck. What do you say we get back to Industry Garage?
I can wait.
Well, I do have one more stop first. The last piece of the puzzle. Special order straight from Germany, a Eurospec 997 turbo rear bumper. My bumper had a little too much existing bodywork, so we upgraded to the Eurospec, dropped the bumperettes, and I think this is gonna set the rear end of the car off perfectly. There's no more parts to pick up. We're not waiting on anything. It's time to finally see this color in person for the very first time. And Fernando, I'm nervous. What if we don't like this color? Like, I've been planning on this for a long time. There's a lot that's went into this. If it doesn't look good, that's gonna be a problem. Oh, they have to stay outside, sorry.
I'm not ready for it.
1 to 10
before I see
I
it.
could see it. I know
Give me a 1 to 10 right now.
1 to 10?
Yeah.
11. Oh, it looks so good. I mean, I don't have words. No
Same thing
words.
with me.
Do I look excited today?
Yeah.
I have to look good, right? I've been in a good mood all day. We're dropping some other stuff off from the paint for a Corvette. It's just a good day all around. We didn't come with just vet stuff. We got some Porsche goodies too. It looks ridiculous.
Really?
Ridiculous. It looks black.
Wait,
It looks like we didn't even paint it, to be quite honest.
Really?
Show 'em. It's time. Just show 'em. There's the big reveal. It's still black,
it
guys.
just can't.
How many of you think are let down, Fernando? Like 99%. They're like, we did all these color pulls, and it's just black. There's a little more going on here, right?
Look at that.
Wow. Look at this thing. Look at this. Oh
Wow.
my God.
Are you sure this is the same car?
Some of you guys might already know what you're looking at here, but this is Viola Metallic. It's a color that originally came on, and don't quote me on this, like 99 to 2000 Boxsters. At the end, it came down to 3 colors. It was this right here, Viola Metallic, and 2 very bright colors. 1 being pastel orange, 2 being signal green. As time went on, the more I looked at bright colored turbos, I just couldn't do it. I think the bright colors really only work on the GT cars. I mean, full GT bodywork. So at the end of the day, I had to go with a subdued color, and I have to say, I could not be more happy with it. I don't even know what to say. I genuinely don't.
for like it's 10 of 10 right now.
It really is. It's absolutely perfect. I personally still can't believe he got these guys to fit. He did pull them out a good bit, but it certainly doesn't look awkward. We do have a few more parts that once we get back to the shop are gonna assist in making them fit even better. But oh my God, just look at this.
The show started now.
We still have work to do on that front. Fortunately, we can get started on that work really soon, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video.
This is my favorite detail on the whole car.
He stuck a nice sheet of carbon on the top of this spoiler, and I think it's perfect. I've said this 100 times, I'm not even a big carbon fiber fan. How this car ended up covered in carbon fiber, I don't really know, but here we are.
Less than 5 minutes and you're already working on the car?
I have to. You saw what happened last episode, right?
Wow.
In fact, I got a little bit of a brain head damage when that aluminum hood came down and hit me. It actually got so bad for a while that I bought a Dodge. Fortunately for us, we have the cure. Renline mechanical hood dampers. These are not going to fail. These are up, they're good, you don't have to worry about them. Not only are they carbon and pretty cool looking, they're pretty cheap, and they're going to make sure I don't get smashed in the head by another hood. Honestly, this hood I value more than my head, being that it's so expensive, so I really want to make sure this hood stays in good shape. Oh yeah, that's locked in place. I'm not getting bashed in the head anymore. Renline hood dampers, highly recommend. That is, unless you want to get hit in the head and also buy a Dodge, which I do not recommend. Now, one thing I'm going to have you help me do, these guys.
Oh, okay.
He's really good at carbon, really good at painting, really bad at taking these things off. He just shattered them, so we got to put some new ones on.
I did keep all the old pieces. It is literally in 1,000 pieces.
It's probably because he gets so frustrated to be working on this car. It's like, yeah, tons of
shit.
bullshit.
I just want to break something.
Look how much 3M tape is on the back of them. And the plastic ones, as soon as you start pulling them up, they just crack.
I didn't even realize those are full metal. These are junky old plastic. Yeah. These are brittle, no lie.
It's nice to have like a little notch that helps you line it up.
It's gonna be weird to actually be like cautious with this car now. Like I've just been like running into it, scratching it, not caring whatsoever. I have to pay attention now. This isn't good.
Do you actually gonna lift it with the forklift now?
Absolutely not. No way. No. I need you to explain this here in much more detail because I probably did a really bad job of it earlier.
To keep with the, carbon hood, carbon roof to the top of it. So all I did was wrap the top of it in a single sheet of carbon fiber. I used poly resin, which is what most fiberglass stuff is made out of. I did a V-weave, make it a little fancy, glossed over it. Then we just painted the edge.
Looks awesome.
So from the side it looks, purple with everything else.
It's an awesome touch, and especially in low light like this, the car genuinely does look black.
That's why I like the gloss finish on the carbon. The car looks black and the roof looks black.
It does. Being that it's getting dark, as much as I want to sit around here and talk about this car all day, we got to get it loaded up on the trailer. Car sounds great, doesn't it? Now you might be wondering why there's not a front bumper on it. We found one crack in the paint. I think it has something to do with the fact that there was all that old paint underneath of it. So Tim's gonna keep it here, get that to us in about a week, and that way we can stick it back on the car. Are you gonna let me get out of the car first or what?
He just said my favorite reaction so far. It was like, they didn't paint it? It's black again?
It really does look black, doesn't it?
This
Especially
lighting
this
probably
light.
too.
Alright. Good. You're not gonna hit. Well, she's home. Now we gotta get her inside under the good light so we can actually, hopefully, finally see this color.
You're doing the morning workout?
It's not much of a workout, man. This is a really, like, easy rolling car. Right about there's good.
There we go.
Yeah, now it looks sick. Now this looks awesome.
Look at this combo. Like, that's what I'm saying. They have to be gloss. Yeah, I'm saying gloss.
Yeah, in here gloss looks better. So in the sun, gloss. When it's like dark out or
Yeah.
you know, when it's cloudy like this, I think matte looks better. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out at some point. Maybe. Or maybe we won't. I don't know yet. Now that this thing is inside, this is the first really good look I've had at it, and this paint, I don't know what to say. It's just awesome. I'm so nervous right now. I'm so nervous. It's not clipped all the way in there, but that's basically what it's gonna look like. When it gets clipped in, it's held much more tightly.
Wow. Looks awesome.
Looks dusty. Now that the car is actually painted and fresh, that sticks out like a sore thumb, especially because there's compound on it. Well, now that it's back home, I suppose there's not much more to do other than get to work. I think the first thing I want to do is stick those GT2 side skirts on and see if they actually look good now that the car's fully assembled and somewhat complete at least. Some idiot stuck the clip in backwards. I don't know who would have done that the last time we were messing with this.
Oh, you scratch it.
That's like the 5th time today he's made this joke. I haven't scratched it yet.
What is it called? The color they put on Nissans, like
midnight purple. Midnight
From this
purple.
angle, looks like that.
Nah, that's a better color.
No, this is a better color than midnight purple, 100%. And the Porsche guys watching will back me up. Midnight purple looks like weirdly like yellow and green in some lights. This is it. Here we go. He hasn't said anything all day about it.
No, I was actually coming over to agree. I don't like the green in midnight purple, so
it's
I
true, it has
do
green.
agree that this is a better color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's the first nice Porsche thing he's ever said. So
Oh no, I was just talking about the color. It's not about the car at all. It's just the color.
it is a Porsche color though. It's an official Porsche color. What do you guys think? I was kind of unsold on it originally. I'm digging it. I like it a lot. Unfortunately, they did get a couple scratches on them. I can't imagine how that would have happened as they sat around the shop for the past 2 months, maybe falling over once or twice. The one big thing that's bugging me now is the fact that in here, this is still faded. We got to do something about that, and we got to do something about that quick. Now I think it's time to change directions completely. There's one loose end hanging around from the roll cage and seat installation video. Look at this. And in case you didn't see that video, roll the clip. This is not only wet. Fernando, that looks like mold to me. Now we have to fit this past the roll cage. It literally just popped into my head like, oh, we'll just pop the hatch up. That wasn't a hatch we were working through. It just didn't have rear glass in it. This is not gonna be fun. I can barely get it into the door. You know what?
Fuck this car.
Check that out.
OEM quality.
OEM GT3 not even expensive. That cost us like $350.
It's amazing when you get a piece like that in and it just finishes it, and you kind of can't even envision the total product until you see it all
Exactly.
together.
That's exactly what I would describe this as. It looked like a bare, empty car before this, and now it looks like, well, something. And now that I've had my afternoon to be completely in awe of this thing, it's time to actually start getting it back together. First things first, the third brake light. You guys will see more about what went into this when Tim releases his video on painting the car, but if you look inside there, you can see that this trunk has been reinforced a little bit. Being that this is a replica trunk, they have issues when they get hot where this will expand and there'll be a gap in the third brake light. On this trunk, unlike the stock one, there's no way to access the prongs on the side of the third brake light. On the factory trunk, you can get in there, hit these guys down, and it pops right out. On this one, I am pretty certain that once it goes in, it's not coming back out. So one, we have to make sure it goes in the right way the first time, and two, we have to test it before we put it in. This is going to be our first opportunity to use our freshly depinned trunk wiring harness. The factory turbo harness had another 4 or 5 wires in it for the trunk hydraulics, for the height sensor on the wing. Fortunately, we need none of that, so we depinned it, made it nice and simple. Now, if everything goes smoothly, we're going to plug this in, and the brake light will function as it should. The alternative, of course, being we find out we have some burned LEDs, and we have to go hunt down a brake light. There we go, okay. Hey, they all work, they all light up perfectly. All right, great, shut her down. Before we stick this brake light in for the last time, we get the fish said new wiring harness, modified wiring harness, up through this trunk. Just a little bit scary, but we got room to get all our harnesses through there. We did in a previous episode have to drill pretty much everything on this trunk. That's just one thing I overlooked. We'll worry about the service light later. Right now, we're just after this third brake light. When I somewhat test fit this previously before the car was painted, it didn't want to sit that well in there. Once again, I couldn't put it all the way in because I was scared I wouldn't be able to get it out. Let's see how she wants to fit though. So close. Do we just push it in or do we... Let's push it in. The good news, that's not coming out. That's snapped in there good. Now keep in mind it is a replica trunk, so I have no room to complain. This whole trunk was about $1,000, very, very reasonable. If you haven't heard me say it in one of my other videos, an OEM Aero Kit trunk, about $8 grand, assuming you can find one. You see right there, this bottom lip just sticks out a little bit. It's not perfect, it's not square, but honestly guys, the whole package for the price considered, I'm super happy with it. Add in that little bit of bonus carbon fiber on the top, and I think we have a 10 out of 10 looking trunk. We're finally back in here after a day off, and for the first time in almost 4 days, it's sunny outside. And yes, that does mean exactly what you think it means. At the end of today, when we're done doing this little bit of work we have to knock out, we're pushing it outside and finally getting a look at this paint in the sun. And that all sounds fine and dandy, but before that, we have some really, really tedious stuff to do, including everything back there. If you look behind our beautiful roll cage there, you see a lot of bare metal. We have to change that. Back there where that yellow painter's tape is, that's the front 2 bolts for this panel right here. So somehow we have to wedge ourselves past that cage, through the cage, around the cage, I don't know, and get all those panels on. Get everything back there set exactly how we're gonna leave it permanently. Not only that, we have to do the seat belts, we also have to do the rear struts today. When we were rushing around trying to get this car to paint, you guys may remember we just did the front Bilsteins. The rear of this car, it's not only sitting high because it doesn't have a drivetrain in it, but it still has stock struts as well. Our beautiful Bilsteins have been relegated to the miscellaneous hardware box. Today that changes. At the end of today, this car is going to be in a much more complete state and therefore being much closer to being back on the road, which is good because we just got a very, very long awaited call from our guys in New Jersey. I can't help but feel like I should have the fire department on speed dial, but let's go for it. Everything's going great, guys. I can't tell which way my arm is right now, but it's going good. You may be questioning why I didn't put this cage in later. I'm also questioning that. Next up on the list of stuff that's going to ruin our day here, the struts. We may not have done everything in the right order on this car, but rest assured we're doing it, so. To add to the fun of the day, we also have the joy of working on this car on jack stands. Because of the fact that we need to constantly be slinking and contorting ourselves in and out of this car, we don't get to put it on the lift because, well, the doors can't open like that. Stupid wheel bolts. So dumb. Now we get the luxury of getting rid of these nasty, disgusting stock rear shocks and putting some beautiful coilovers back on this car. I am curious to hear what you guys think about getting rid of the electronic shocks. Am I making a big mistake here, or is continuing to simplify this car the right call? Check her out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are fully soft at the current moment. Make sure, unlike me, if you're doing this, you don't forget the washer off the stock strut. You know the channel motto, safety first. Pretty much the same deal as the front one. Whatever slides over the threaded part of the strut right here has a little alignment notch. I guess it's for the electronic suspension. When you switch to these Bilsteins, you gotta grind it off. 9mm around the strut, 19mm on the nut, and pray for the best. Should be about good. We are gonna turn it back and go to settings, say forged, medium soft. 2, 3, cool. Boom, we're ready for install. I hope you guys are enjoying the view of the car. We're struggling, but at least the car looks good, right? Down. Yeah. Oh yeah. It wasn't that bad. Check her out. Fresh new coilovers there. Looking much better than the stock junk that we had on it. There's definitely a lot more we need to address in the suspension, but that's a story for another day. For now, we need to get that giant mess back there finished up. Love the Apex wheels. One thing I might like even more is the Apex wheel stud set I just bought. Can't wait to install that and never touch a wheel bolt again in my life. Final box score for this install: 87 fucks, 6 cucks, 18 goddammits, and 5 fuck this cars. Were we successful in what we set out to do? The answer to that question is yes. Everything back there is fully complete. That's where the good news ends, because it took us 10 hours. 10 hours, you heard that right. And if that doesn't give it away, well, it's pitch black outside. The actual process of installing those panels back there, way easier than I thought it was going to be. Where we ran into trouble was the fact that this was pretty much the first final assembly of a portion of this car. You guys remember what this car looked like when we bought it? It wasn't good. A lot of stuff was missing. A lot of stuff was broken. We spent pretty much all day trying to remedy that. We were successful with most of it. Something we ended up struggling with for a good portion of the day are the seat belts. They lock in place when nothing's attached to them, but the minute we bolt the seat belts down, they don't want to lock. Obviously, the last thing we need in a car that's making this kind of power is non-working seat belts, so we definitely have to figure that out. It's quite possible that the actual slider mechanisms are broke. The original guys who removed this glass pulled them apart. I'm not sure exactly what they did. I didn't get to see it come apart, unfortunately, so we're going to have to do a little more research on that. At the end of the day, does it suck to have put this much time into the car and pretty much got nothing done except coilovers and interior plastics? Absolutely. But in the grand scheme of things, this is a day we had coming to us. We were going to have to knock out all these problems at some point. At least now they're done and we can move on to more productive stuff. As much as I wanted to wait until that front bumper came back, as much as I wanted to have the exterior just a little more complete, truthfully, I'm just really, really excited about this whole build. And I know you guys have been there every step of the way. And I honestly just don't want to keep this a secret anymore. So we're just going to drop the video. Even though we have an absolutely insane amount of work still ahead of us, I can't believe we're almost there. For those of you guys who have done a build of this magnitude prior, you know how much money, time, blood, sweat, tears, everything goes into something like this. So to see what I envisioned for this car back in the summer finally coming true, finally being almost back on the road, I obviously cannot be more excited about it. I know it's been a long road, a lot of delays, a lot of part shortages. Thank you guys so much for sticking it out with me. I truly hope you guys are excited about this just like I am, and I can't wait to share the rest of the build. And as for the next part of the build that I am going to share with you, well, that's going to be in New Jersey. Before we close it out, I want to take one more second and thank you guys because we're almost at 100,000 subscribers. Those of you guys who tune into every single Porsche video we put out are a massive, massive part of that, so truly thank you. I have teased in a couple other videos that at 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to be re-debuting one of my favorite builds on the channel. If somehow you're one of the people that have watched this far in the video and you're not subscribed, one, why not? Two, Now's the perfect time. We have some incredibly special stuff coming up for 2023. Not just the Porsche, not just the car we're re-debuting, but plenty of rebuilds, plenty of salvage stuff. And if none of that does it for you, Austin has a Nissan Juke, maybe that's your thing. One more time, truly, thank you guys for sticking it out with me on this build. I know it hasn't been the most fast-paced thing, but I will see you guys back here very, very shortly with a major, major update. Yes?
Hey, did you already get your hood?
Yeah, we're filming.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yes, I'm currently unwrapping it, dog. Thanks for calling me from 10 feet away.
Okay, what kind of YouTube channel do you have?
A really bad one. Really bad. Brand new. What am I doing with my hands? What the fuck am I doing with my hands? Yeah, it is cold as shit, right?
Okay.
You're on me now. You're like, you stop fucking up, man.
What?
My Miata basically has a matte black hood. We're pretty similar.
Just decided we're glossing it because I don't want to be associated with that thing. So. This may go to B-roll. I'm not sure yet. Just this is the editing note. Fernando's trying to get the shot on me, but I'm just giving myself an editing note. We have to be civil here. There's a car that actually has good shop in the paint. As I trip over an oil cooler, piece of junk silver Mitsubishi here.
Stand on the rotor.
What was that?